Good morning. Well, it's another reasonably nice day today. No rain expected, the first time in like about 4 days. So I'm gonna take advantage of this weather and basically run the hoses from the shut-off valves, or I'm going to call them shut-off valves. I'm not quite sure what to call them, bypass valves. So what I want to do is I want to have Wi-Fi enabled valves that I can program or be able to control my phone or an app or computer or whatever, and basically say, no, I want this water to either be able to go to the gray water bins, which are the IBCs in the garage, or I want it to go directly into the sewers in case there's something like, we want to clean the sinks, or put bleach down or something like that, or use chemicals, or someone dyes their hair. I want to be able to say, no, I don't want this water being saved, and then putting all over the garden, because that probably wouldn't be the best for the garden. But yeah, the bottom line for today is I want to get that started. I also want to get to the point where I can have these covered, so I'm just going to loosely put on the lid, upside down actually, for the cover on where that will eventually have tiles above it. The other thing I want to try to do today is I've noticed there's a really small leak around the fountain. It's basically on where there's a tube that comes out on the bottom, or like a strainer, and that sucks it in and goes in the garage. And what I think's happening is there's a little fine where the concrete meets the pipe, or the plastic kind of pipe that sucks it in, MDPE, I can't remember what it's called, whatever type of pipe it is, but basically it's sprinkler pipe, and around there, I think it's just a really fine little bit of water leaking through. It's not like it's squirting out or you can't even see a drip. It's just there's a spot where it's always wet. So with evaporation and with that little teeny leak, I think that's why it kind of dripped. After a couple of weeks, even if it rains, it eventually drains out, right? So I want to fix that. In order to do that, I've got to clean up. I've got to do it anyway, because it looks like a swamp. But the fountain, I want to vacuum out all the water and vacuum out all the junk in there, and like there's little bugs growing and stuff and like that. So I want to clean that up, and then I want to try also connecting it so that I can actually pump the water from the IBC into the fountain, and then be able to run it off that and use it as another way to store, because we're generating so much water quicker than I expected that I'm now like, well, where can I put this water other than just putting it down the sewer, right? We're still looking at waiting on parts for the rest of the IBC, or the gray water system. But for now, that's the plan, is I want to get those two things done today. Hopefully the weather stays nice. It looks like it's gonna. Might get a little windy, but that's fine. It's reasonably warm. I throw a jacket on and off, depending on where I'm standing. But yeah, so that's the plan. Let's get those two things done quick. It's probably hard to see, but if we look in the pit here, you can see just how much water we've been getting with rain. It's probably about an inch, I guess, maybe half an inch of water down there. So if I can, I'd like to get this cover on kind of even just temporarily upside down, and get all this wired up and all the paths a little closer, at least for the pipe directions of where I want things to go. So let's focus on that. So the one thing I've got to do right now is I've got to suck all this water out, because I don't want to be standing in there and getting all soaked. So let's vacuum that out and get her going. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take this apart a little bit and redo it so it's a little more in line with how I want it to eventually be. Which, what I'd like it to do is have the plumbing run here, turn a corner, and then have these two split off somewhere in this corner, and then turn a corner again, or at least connect over here. And I don't know yet, actually. Let's see what we can do with it. See what the connections I have, and see what I can do to get this thing to work. All right, so I'm not going to need any of this. Oh, lost some O-ring, which is not good. Get that in a second. We connect it over here. I can take this off. Oh, oops. Oh, geez. Let's fill it up with water again. I've dropped an O-ring all the way down here, or a rubber gasket, or whatever you want to call it. Because what I'd like to eventually do is have these pipes bolted to the concrete like that. Once again, it's going to be one of those things where I'm just going to have to do a bit now and finish it off later. Alrighty, sorry about that. Just got a delivery of some bits I needed, which is good. Not enough, but I got some more. So I can now install the flow meter, which will be great. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is take this handle and flip it. Hopefully that works. So I have my two valves set up, and they're basically bolted to the shutoff valve. The automatic thing is. It's not moving anywhere, so that's good and solid. I don't know whether it can be on the side or it has to be straight up, but I'm just going to try to have them straight up and see if we can get stuff working. So another thing is the direction doesn't really matter, I don't think. So because it's this way, I'm going to probably do like that, and then this will open this way. And then on the other side, because I need to have corner, I'll have it open, which way? I'll have it open like that. So they'll both turn in, I think. I think that's what I want to do. So let's start that going. Next thing I need to do is I need to fish the flexible holes, the two of them, in through this guy and up and out the top over there, and then cut it. So let's get that going. All right, so here's the flexible hose. I gotta fish the wire hoses through here. Now I've got that kind of temporarily sitting there. I'm going to attach a hose into the pool room, hopefully, that will let me be able to dump it. All right. And then we need this guy to go in that one. I have these hooked up. This one here goes into the pool room, obviously, and it goes into just basically there's a 100mm pipe with a little way I'm going to hook it in properly when I actually get into doing more of the stuff. This direction is probably not what I'm going to do. I'm not sure yet with all these pipes, because I've obviously got to fill that hole in eventually with stones and lime mortar. This is the one that goes to the pool room, and it seems to be working well. So now I've just got to determine which valve does what, and which goes which way, because I have no idea. So that, if I'm correct, was the one that went to the storage, the water storage in the garage. So let's see what we can do with that. Make the hose out, and let's try filling it with water. Shows you how much water it needs. Oh, there we go. This guy's going. Now where's it going to? I hear it gurgling along here. Now, let's try setting it up so that it doesn't save water. and then it goes to the drain. So that one shouldn't go, and this one should go. So let's try that again. Just going to make sure it's connected. I'm going to fill the room with water. Yes, it is connected. Here we go. That worked well. A little drip inside, but nothing bad. Now, what I'd like to do is try to put that cover on, because while the water will still leak in down the bottom, it'll keep at least all the electronics dry. Alrighty, let's put that on there. Give it a... Yeah. That'll keep things mostly dry, I think. At least stop someone from falling into it. But yeah, there we go. That's one job done. Once again, not totally done, but it's making progress. Well, now that I put those valves on and I've got things running into the garage or into the drain, I'm going to stop on that. And basically what I'm focused on is cleaning this pool or this fountain out, because it's absolutely disgusting. There's like larvae in it, I think, for mosquitoes and bugs, and it just, you know, they're all winter not running, so it's pretty bad. So I'm going to use the shop vac, the wet vac, and I'm going to vacuum all the junk out of it, because what I've noticed is that there's a little teeny leak towards where the water comes out of the fountain and into the garage. So what I want to do, from what I can see, is that around where the screen is, or the filter that's below the water level, where that plastic pipe meets the concrete, there's a little fine line of like a crack, which I kind of knew was going to happen. So I have actually some pool caulking. So what I'm trying to do is run a little bead of that around and kind of see if I can seal that little bit where the connection between the concrete and the plastic is. I think what's happened is it expands and cracks because it doesn't really adhere well, the resin. So we'll see if that works. I mean, worst case is I couldn't stop it. It's not like it's leaking out or dripping. It's just kind of always a bit damp. So I think over the weeks and months, it slowly drips, gets a little bit of it leaking out. So I'm gonna do that next. So let's get vacuuming and cleaning up this disgusting fountain. Eesh. There we go. I think that's pretty good for now. I'll suck a little more out over there, and then do some caulking once it dries. It's quite hard to show, but there's a little bit of, kind of see where the connection is? It's just a little fine line all the way around that I think was where it's leaking, kind of along in here. There's a little blob of something under that I'm going to pick out, I think. It's where the connector was. I should be able to remove this whole thing technically, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Have to get in, unfortunately. Yeah, make a mess. Yeah, there's some old caulking right here. Which I think was a mistake to put that in there when I did it. All right, let's do another vacuum. I should be able to apply this, even if it is a bit damp. It's pretty cool. So let's go for it. Well, that's it for today. Cleaned out that fountain, which was pretty gross, and yeah, ran the caulking around just kind of where I think maybe it's leaking, a couple spots, I'm not sure. I figure while I've got it empty, before I start filling it with water, might as well give it a go, right? It doesn't hurt anything. So we'll see if it works or not. And if it does still leak a little bit, it's not the end of the world. It's such a small, it's more like almost like a damp spot that it happens. So, but anyways, that's it for today. On to different things tomorrow. I've got the water shooting out to the right places via my phone, which is great. And I got the fountain hopefully cleaned up, and we're going to try storing the water tomorrow, I think. As in pumping it into the fountain, which would be cool. See how much it holds. I've also finally got the parts for my flow meter. So in the probably next week or maybe on the weekend, I'm not sure yet, I'll try attaching that to the irrigation system and just sort of see how close the system guesstimated versus what it actually is doing. So at least we'll be able to know how much water I'm going to use, which would be great. Still waiting on more parts for the gray water, but you know, we'll be waiting for that forever, but that's cool. Anyways, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you following me and giving me the thumbs up, and especially messaging, because it's nice to have people to chat to. So I hope you have a good rest of the week, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Ciao.